Hello everyone, where's the cam? Video capture device. Activate. Aha, here it is. Okay, does it work? Here it is. Yeah, it seemed to work for the first time in ages. So let me move this guy in here so I will be able to see everything. So hello everyone, if anyone is new in here, I'm Eric Szczygieł and I'm doing art. And in my spare time I'm doing some YouTubes and everything, so feel free to be here and to watch my videos and everything, and I hope you will have a good time. Today I will try to finish on this guy from Heroes of Might and Magic 1, I believe, yeah, 1, the Cyclops. Previously, like really longest time ago, I did a troll. I'm kinda afraid why. Oh, okay, here he is. There is a troll, so I did this guy based on the Unli work, this one. Oh wait, whoa. Yeah, this guy, so I will continue on this one. So as always, if you know the drill, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to ask them. If you don't have any questions, enjoy the stream, hopefully. And yeah, there's also a link to a group, to a Discord group down below in the description. So if you would like to go to the group, post some artworks, possibly get like a feedback or whatever, or just interact with some people, feel free to go there. And yeah, this is pretty much all that I have to say. And yeah, I want to kind of wrap this one guy up because I feel I have been doing him for like ages at this moment, and I just couldn't bring myself to stream recently. I had so much shit going on, and I just felt not like streaming. So hopefully I don't want to make any promises. I will get back on track with everything, and hopefully I will be a little bit more organized with everything and a little bit less disorganized. So the things that definitely I want to work on with is slightly sharpen all the stuff around him. So there will be a bit of work in this general area. Let me go to the full screen mode. And let me actually take this. Yeah. So I want to clean a bit all the details in here. So the focal point, like the area that is the most important across the entire character, will be much sharper, and we'll just have more details to it. And yeah, and the plan for the next creature is to make a goblin, but to approach it in a bit more controlled manner. So I will definitely be searching for a much more references for the goblin. I will be doing maybe even some studies before finishing on the goblin or before starting on the goblin. So we will see how it will go, because in the end I wanted those guys to be kind of like helpful to me, so I will learn something instead of like just do them for the sake of doing them. And since I am spending so much time on each one of those, I mean, since it takes multiple live streams to finish at least one of those, at least maybe I will be able to learn something. I also tried to re-record some of the parts for the video about the brushes, but I just forgot how to make videos. It takes me again dozens tries to record anything that is slightly decent. So yeah, I'm trying to do it, but I kinda lost the ability to record on the fly. Not that I had it developed like a lot, but to some degree I could just record a video on the fly, and now I can't. So yeah, this is what happens when you work a bit more and you kinda try not to do YouTube too much. I have no idea what those lines are. This kinda looks like some artifacts from like some older layer. I have no clue why they are in here. Some leftovers. What is this layer? Okay, this is what I plan to do. some leftovers. So yeah. And also, if anyone would like to get a paint over on a screen, like while I'm working on those guys, feel free to send me a link in here. Preferably on Twitch. The Twitch is now working, I think. Yeah, it does. It is. So yeah, I will be able to see it and just maybe paint over it and answer some questions or whatever. The more precise you usually are with the questions, the it's just easier it is for me to answer those. So yeah. And also for this guy, I just want to clean some areas like here. I thought maybe I will work a bit more on the background, but I guess I will just improve the background with every single like creature. So for example, when I will be doing a goblin, then I will slightly like commit one stream or something like this to the background. I will refine it a bit more. Then I will do the orc or whatever. I will take some time, refine the background some more, and just will slightly improve on the background every single time to hopefully at some point just combine the background into every other character that I have in here. So I will just do it offline because it will be boring, because those will be like really small fixes and everything, but I want to give them the uniform background. I was also thinking maybe I will change the cloud formations for every single one of those and slightly change the textures on the grass in here. So it will kind of feel like we are dealing with like similar place for each one of those. So the thinking is maybe, but most likely I will do it offline because this is just like time consuming. There will be like a panorama for each one of those. So there's like constant something happening in here, like constant mountains, constant clouds or whatever. So if you combine those, this will be like one big illustration, and here will be like the dude number 1, the fella number 2, the fella number 3, and so on and so on. I hope you get the idea. But yeah, this is the plan that I kind of have. And yeah, and for the things that I might want to do, because I'm really good at planning stuff that I want to make instead of like just finishing the stuff that I do. So this is why this, like, let's say, challenge with Heroes of Might and Magic is going on so long. At this point I wanted to have all of those finished, and I wanted to like do all the cities and everything. It's not happening, but I guess the next streams I will just try to do my own things and develop my own IP, because like there will be no better time to do it than in my spare time and on stream. So this way I will be able to interact a bit more with some people. And for this guy, I also kind of want to add some like patches of leather to his like clothing, so he will feel a bit more like done in a sense. I'm not sure how to say it, but so he will feel a bit more natural. Yeah, like I would expect something like this to be in here. So yeah. Also, if anyone has any topics that you would like me to talk about, also feel free to write them. It will be much easier for me to just grip onto something instead of just mumbling to myself. But yeah. And for the things that kinda went wrong with this one, because I decided I also want to talk about the problems that I had with the illustrations, because like this is kind of the obvious route to go with the illustration. In this case, definitely I was not really planning enough for the painting, so the pose is not really what I wanted it to be. It is kind of stiff and odd now, looking like back at this after some time. I kind of feel that the light setup was a bit too random for me. I feel I did not really have a lot of control over the light setup, so this is definitely one of the things that I really need to like look upon, so to control everything that I do a bit better. Even a slight improvement will be really okay at this point. And yeah, And the anatomy as always, because the anatomy is a tough thing to do. So there's always something to improve upon. And for the Goblin, I actually might try to make some references photos of myself, because when I was just looking at the sketches, I kind of have a similar build like the Goblin, so maybe I will just pose it and maybe I will just photo bash myself somehow into it. I will try to maybe make myself a pants out of grass or whatever. So it would be actually kind of funny to do something like this. And I might actually paint a bit of my skin kind of green into greenish tones, because I was really trying to search for a photo with like a green skin outside, and all I found was only like a CGI type of a stuff, but nothing that would really show me how the green skin might look like. Now when I said it out loud, I kind of think I have not checked all the cosplay events and everything, so I might search for something like in there, like people cosplaying Hawk or whatever character that is green, because somehow it did slip my mind previously, so this might be a good place to search actually for the references. But yeah, and I want to kinda add a bit more left, like this blue hue onto his skin, because the sky is reflecting of his skin in the darker areas. So I want to kind of like bring those blues out in here, and then I want to reduce the opacity of it. You kind of always want to add stuff like this to the character, because we always need to remember that in the end it's the interaction of the character with the environment, and we need to put him or her or whatever you are painting into a context. Without the context, it's really hard to come up with pretty much anything for the character. And this blue type of a reflex, like the reflection of a blue light, will usually happen more on the edges, because let me just quickly draw it. There is this something that is called finalle. So basically every surface is like reflective at a certain angle. So for example, when you look at this point from here, it's not really reflective. You will see like a flat color or whatever, but if you would look from here, like from a really sharp angle, it will like reflect the light in a better manner. So it will be a bit more reflective. So this is like the general idea how you might want to approach this problem. And you might just paint it or just try some different layer styles. Actually, liner light looks kind of cool. It's off, but the effect is cool. Hard light is really okay, but not with this hue. Let me check a different hue. Yeah, actually with this hue, it's okay. What is the hue? Also, if someone of you might not know, if you color pick, in here you can select current layer, so you don't have to turn off and on this, all those layers. You can just like pick from the adjustment layer without worrying of it destroying your painting. And I also want to clip the layer to the thing. A bit of blues in here, maybe some blues on the nose and on top of his head. Those changes are like really small. This is like barely visible, but sometimes it's like those pixels that are the most important, I would say. Like those subtle adjustments, because they will give you and grant you the depth that you might lack in your paintings. But this is just like a really usually subtle type of a thing. So without it, there's not like a huge change to it, but with it, I feel it looks a bit better, just like slightly better. I was also thinking about maybe giving this guy some like tribal tattoos and stuff like this. I felt it might look kind of interesting. So for example, I might take like this, current and below is in my opinion the best version of it. So I might just like go with stuff like this and just like to paint some shit on him. Just look how it looks like. Usually the way how I like to approach it is first to apply the layer as a color and then apply it as a soft light or overlay. Hello, me blurred. Yeah, everything is fine, and then reduce the thing. So this way it kind of looks like a tattoo, I would say, because it grabs all the textures that is underneath it. So yeah, but when I will going to paint it, I would paint them flat. This is like a multi-layer adjustment, I would say. So I kind of try to imagine what something like this might draw on himself. Definitely some circles or some. Maybe let me also take a brush that is a bit more like painterly. Whoops. Which one will look like a finger type of a thingy? This kinda one does not really look like this. This one might look like this. No, I guess the previous one was better. Oh, this will be the brush where it's only a smudge tool. Oh, this one. Yeah, this one has the textures I might like. So let me just do a quick test on a bigger scale. So maybe he just like paints himself with it. Some of the paint, of course, will come off. I should have looked at some like symbols that those guys might have in the lore or whatever, but let me just try to come up with something like really typical, some like swirls and shit. So yeah, with stuff like this, I can imagine them painting some like more circles. Maybe because this is like the Cyclop, maybe the other creatures are like painting the eye on him, because this is like a Cyclop, so it would make a sense that they try to paint an eye on him. Let me just see how it does feel. Like a line going through the eye. This looks kind of funny. I kind of like the line on the forehead. I feel it looks kind of neat. Especially since this is like a more tribal type of a character, so I can imagine something like this to make sense actually in here. And because he is also shooting lasers out of his eye, adding like painting to his face like this kinda gives him a bit of a character, I would say. And in general, I think it's a nice detail. I like it a lot. Okay, those don't really work, but yeah, maybe some like circles and lines around his arm, some swirls. Let me quickly go Google this thing. Tribal tattoos. North Africa. Because if you would like just to type the tribal tattoo, you'll find all those like ugly ass tribal thingies. And since the tribal, like the tattoos are quite interesting in shapes and they really depend on the culture, it might be really hard to come up with those on a spot. So something like this. Whoops. Yeah, so something like this actually might might work. So yeah, like circles, lines. This is kind of interesting. It looks quite modern, I would say. But I really like the dashed lines. This looks neat. I do enjoy those. I wonder what those are. They are for. Maybe on the lip. And the painting on the lip makes it kind of looks a little bit more like Asian, I would say. A lot of like Asian creatures and monsters have those type of paintings. It kind of reminds me of all the geisha stuff and everything. So this might be the reason. But yeah, I feel like those are quite okay-ish. I do have like a book with some different symbols. I could just search for some cool symbols to put on him, but I guess I will just like try to imagine those on a fly. Oh, the circles and the fingers. This is kind of neat, like a ring. So we kind of deviate from the original concept, but I don't really mind it that much. And on the leg, do I want him to have something on the leg? Maybe not. I want to add those dots in here. I feel this brush really nicely works with those things. He also might get like a kind of like wrapping around the type of a line around his arm. And I want it to be slightly like visibly destroy on the inside because he will be like moving his arm alongside like this armor and everything. So also the armor in here might be slightly like dirtied with all the paints and brushes and everything. In here it won't really be that visible, but yeah, it will do make some sense to it. And I fancy some triangles. And since also in the game those guys live in like temples, they basically have like their own pyramids. It also makes sense that the servants come to them and they just like try to, I don't know, paint on them to appeal to them because this is like the most powerful monster. So maybe they also paint some stuff like this. So he has a scar like in here. So to fix the scar. Kind of like the motif of a circle. Hello, Rommel. Thank you. Yeah, okay, don't touch the legs. Don't really enjoy the tattoos on his legs. I feel in here I would need something to balance out the rest. Okay, so now you can see what I mean by changing it to the color and then changing the second one to a soft light. Let's see a difference. So let me Ctrl-Alt-Z everything. Yeah, this is without, this is with the soft light. So this is a flat thing, and this one looks like it also catches the light. So this is why this trick is kind of hefty, and why I think it works nicely, because it like shows the interaction between light and the tattoos. And the cool thing is I can always like remember what I used. So for example, like I can just go in here, do something like this, and call it a tattoo don't remove. So I would know now I use this layer as a tattoo. And okay, this is this. I kind of want to fix the face a bit more in a liquify. So let me go to, well, display capture, so you will be able to see what I'm doing. And in Liquify, if you select something, then you can basically like just distort it. So you can do like stuff like this and other stuff. But you can really do a lot of fine tuning in here. So you can like really easily adjust the shape of a skull to make it like slightly, yeah, like, yeah, you can just adjust a lot of different things in here. So I kind of want his skull to be slightly more like, not really that even. I want him to be kind of like bumpy in a sense. So yeah, but the biggest problem I do have is with the ears. I don't really like how they look like right now. They are kind of like off feel. So maybe something slightly more like puffy. Does it? It does not detect the face. So something like this? No. Something more like this. Kind of more like horns. Maybe. Yeah, I like it much more. The other thing is, I believe that even in this scenario, I will be able to see, I should be able to actually see the inside of his ear from this side, even ever so slightly, but it should be visible, I believe. Maybe not. Yeah, it should be. I could like, I think this might be the thing that I was kind of missing. This part with the ear. And definitely there will be a bit more like reddish glow to it. I said it many times, but if you have like a red light in your ear, it's basically like light penetrating through the skin, and the blood vessels are giving this like red type of a hue to your ear. So there is that, a bit more like whiter edge, a bit of a brighter thing in here, and also maybe some like some hairs here and there, because on his head I can imagine he would have some hair, even though he is like bald. He should have some of those in here. Also recently, for the things that are kinda funny related to her, sometimes, really sometimes, I grew like a really long eyebrow. It just like happens from time to time. Just one eyebrow goes like yeet, and it just like goes all out. And recently I had like an extremely long hair on my ear. It was like, in a sense, like if you would compare this guy to this guy, it was just like this long type of a thingy, and it was like growing from the top of my ear. It was really fucking creepy, because I'm not like 90 years old to have like those type of things on my ears. But my significant other found it, and I was like, what is this? Like I'm not allowed to have stuff like this on me, but I did, and it was scary. So I'm getting old or whatever. So soon I might just take a photo of myself, and I will just have a reference for a Cyclop or an Ogre. So yeah, there is that. I'm not getting any younger, it seems. But it's kind of terrifying. Yeah, now I like the face a bit more. And the ears. Because they were like this. Yeah, this looks fine. Okay, I can remove this. And let me cast a shadow. Hello, Dajafoe. Dajafoe. For the shadow, I will make a duplicate of this guy. Actually, I might, yeah, I will do it. I don't really like this thing because it creates like I will remove it, but I don't like the fact that it creates this like empty space in here. So, and it also does not really make sense that we also go back to the Photoshop display. It does not really make a lot of sense for the chainmail to all of a sudden create like a loop. I will just remove it. Also, I want to limit a bit those in here. And I might add some stuff in here. Yeah, painting chainmail, as I said previously, is really tricky. It's like, I can imagine this is like one of the hardest things that you might ever paint because it's really complex. It's really not that forgiving in terms of like any mistakes. And even if you want to just suggest there is a chainmail, it's really hard to do because every time like you paint over it, it just kind of disappears. So it's really not a forgiving material to paint. But definitely it is a challenge to do a nice looking chainmail. And also this is one of the reasons why you so rarely see characters in chainmails, I believe, in fantasy games, because like even to make a concept of it is just like slightly hard. In 3D I don't think it's like any problem whatsoever, but yeah, but in 2D it's a nightmare, I would say. Oh, let me check if the Twitch and everything still works. Oh, wow, that's amazing. The Twitch works. I have no idea why, but on Twitch the stream was like not working previously properly. And I kind of wanted even to drop out of Twitch because it's like hard. I don't think those type of a content is like okay for Twitch. I mean, it is okay, but that it's like really needed on Twitch. But I guess I might just stay a bit longer, just continue with it. So we will see. Some like sewings. So those lines can suggest that those pants are like sewn somehow. Oh yeah, I don't even think it's legal. I don't know. A lot of people were saying that streaming on Twitch and YouTube is like a no-no, but every single streaming software like allows you to do so. So I don't know. I will continue until I get banned, I believe. And then I will stop paying for Streamlabs because then there will be no reason for me to like stream on like to pay for the premium to not be able to stream on Twitch. So yeah. I mean, by streaming on Twitch, I mean when there is a stream on YouTube, it's also on Twitch, and on Twitch nothing special happens. I was kinda considering maybe doing some games and everything on Twitch, but it's not really a content that I would like to make. I would prefer to just like draw and to not waste time on. I mean, I like wasting time on games, and I will like tell you about it in a second. But I think if I have time to stream, I would prefer to use this time painting instead of like streaming games. So yeah, if this makes sense. And for the games, I don't even remember if I told you this, but like you as a viewer, as a lot of people at the moment, 5. I finished Elden Ring. The game is fucking beautiful in every single aspect I can imagine. From start to the end, it was like a beautiful. The word I'm missing, journey. And yeah, I look forward to waiting for much more patches and everything for they to add content for the DLC and whatnot, and the game will get even better because at this moment this game is spectacular. So yeah, there is this. I kind of also want to make the shadows a bit deeper and to kind of like I don't like this line in here. It does not make really a lot of sense. The shadow is slightly stronger. It is okay. This area in here needs to be like repainted. Current and below. Yeah, I mean, if you have already a base in a like as a grid of a chainmail, then it is slightly easier to paint, but it still is a bit of a pain in the ass. And the thing I want to do is to like remove this hard line. Oh yeah, I mean, yes, tons of designs are just like straight up beautiful, but they are like really Dark Souls-esque cool. Like a From Software added again. They have the same formula. They are weird, kinda in the same manner. They are unexpected as you would expect them. There are tons of monsters that literally made me like, what the fuck is this? That made me go this way. But yeah, I've been enjoying it immensely. The world is just nice. It's really simple and to the point. Like, I really like when the design in a kinda in a sense is like simple and just speaks for it. So for example, the most dangerous area, which is like Kylite, is like red, which is like the color of danger usually, and yeah, and stuff like this. Oh yeah, my favorite still, like one of my favorite enemies, is the puppets, especially the one with the swords and the spears, and the fact that if you like scare them, like if you hit them, they will go batshit crazy and they will just start like doing all the swirls and everything. This is really fucking rad. It made me laugh many times, and I always enjoyed poking them. And even the bosses, like some of the bosses are really good. They reuse tons of bosses, like you will fight the same boss like 10 times, but because they are like reusing the models, and sometimes almost even the names. But yeah, I don't really mind it. I mean, it does not feel like it's pushed. It feels like it is the way it was meant to be. So yeah, it kind of is justified by the lore and everything. But yeah, I lost the track what I was talking about, what I wanted to say about the mobs. But some of the creatures are just cool. And the fact that I really like about Elden Ring, I guess this is the thing that I like the most about it, is the fact it's really uh, fair in a sense that if you die, it's because you fucked up. There's like the hitboxes are so precise and accurate, it's like hard to believe they managed to be that precise. So yeah, for me, 10 out of 10 game of the year easily. And if this does not win game of the year, then I don't really care. I mean, I don't really care about the game of the year's awards, but I hope it will win the game of the year because they just did everything like by the book. Everything in this game is just like okay, everything is good. So yeah. And even the things I would consider bullshit many times for playing Souls-like games in this game is just executed nicely. And the thing that I believe I like the most is the fact that you can literally play anything. Like you can do any build you wish. You can just come up with some dumbest shit you can imagine and it will work to some degree. Sometimes it will work better, sometimes it will work worse, but it will work. You can be an archer, you can be like a Fate Dex build, Strength Dex, Strength, Arcane, Strength Int. It's turbo easy. Like, I mean, it is easy to do a build to it. I mean, it was not even a hype, I would say. No one expected From Software to make like a bad game because they do good games pretty much only. And there are of course some things that might get improved, but I would really have to think on what they could have done better. They just have a formula, and as someone said, it's Dark Souls but big, and what more do I need from a game? I'm like, I love Dark Souls, so the bigger the Dark Souls I get, the better Dark Souls it is. So yeah, I don't mind it. Like, give me big Dark Souls. And also the areas, the way they build the world, allow them to like pretty much add content to it without end. Like all the side quests and everything, all the small details that you might do. Like sometimes you will just meet an NPC, and the fact that you're standing here or there will change the interaction. And sometimes you will just skip a dialogue that you thought was not important, but it turns out it was, and that you fucked up your gameplay because you did something wrong. Now you get a special thing. I wanted to get a certain ending, and just by like a pure mistake, I gave something to someone I shouldn't give it to this someone, and this someone ended up killing the other someone. And I was like, okay, I'm no longer. I can't now do the ending that I want. I mean, I can't proceed with the quest that I wanted to proceed with because the quest that I wanted to do is dead. I will be adding shadow now, so I'm grabbing the layer with the shadow, the troll, and I will just current layer it and check the colors and just paint with it, because I want the thing to be how to say it, consistent with the looks. And yeah, and also if anyone would wonder, this is one of the things that I forgot to take care of previously, but if in here we have like a leg, so we can say it's something like this and something like this. I want the direction of the shadow to be like this, more or less, and the angle of light to be like this. So the knee, for example, will cast a shadow in here. This knee will cast a shadow in here. More or less, of course, it's not like a turbo precise type of a thing. This is pretty much like in here. The ass cheek will, like in here there will be an ass, so, right? No, I'm lying. Yeah, I'm not lying. The ass will be like in here, and if I will like draw all the way from here to like here, chest area will be somewhere in here with the head somewhere in here. So like a really simple type of a thing, but just I want to be aware of the fact of what I'm doing with the shadows. And I will be using the soft eraser for those, because I kinda expect the shadow to get kinda dispersed with all the like leaves, all the grass around it, so it will get a bit softened up by the grass. And in the end, when I'm just like finished with everything, I will just like lay all of them together, apply the similar adjustment layer to all of them, and just paint some like minor details. For example, just sharpen the grass here and there. In the areas I just find slightly unfinished, and the arms will be slightly in front. So yeah, this type of a ground that I have in here is really forgiving in terms of shadows. As you can see in here, I basically tried to copy this, but he did it nicer in a cleaner manner. But I also won't be able to replicate it in a sense. So this is also why I will be painting over all of those in the end, so I can keep like a consistent color hue and everything. Fuck, I forgot again what I wanted to say. Yeah, this is the way I'm doing it this way. So yeah. Yeah, and also with the work of An Lee, if anyone have not seen it, this is his artwork. It's a thing that I know what I wanted to paint, and the fact that I know about this artwork was like just a pure coincidence. So if I wouldn't know about it, it will be cool. Because then it won't be like an obvious kind of like, let's say, copy or inspiration, but the fact that I know it just solves a lot of problems for me. So since I'm not like copying the artwork, I'm just like doing my own stuff, and this artwork is just like a answer to my problems in many cases, I will be using it as a reference. But you should also check out his artworks. Now when I'm also thinking about this, I feel like I need to check if there is maybe some sort of an adjustment layer for field, wait, pollen on the fields. So I kind of feel like pollen, like those hazy type of a thing happening behind him with some like debris in the air will be like a really nice add-on to it. Pollen PNG, maybe like dust PNG, a kind of dust might, like a sand dust type of a thing, might actually work for it. So I kind of want something like to fly in here, kind of like you can imagine in a really like sunny ass day, when you have like this, when you are like on the fields or wherever, you have this like something floating in the air, like those white dots and stuff like this, just like flying in the air, and it's so hot and it's so bright that you actually can see all those particles, like all the pollen and I don't know, small animals flying. And this is a nice discovery that you will do only when you accidentally press something. I have a mode set to multiply, and look how a cool ass texture it gives me when I paint with this color. Oh my god, this is really nice. And yeah, this is why you should always test stuff. Even if it's an accident, it's a really nice texture. It basically looks like a rock. This layer, I want to get rid of the darker parts. Do I? Of the brighter parts, kinda. Yeah, so I will kinda get this like dust type of a thing I was talking about. Let's check different blending modes, because the screen should be like the best one for it. But it's, I mean, if I go back on it and go to view, proof setup, custom gray gamma 2.2 to check the values, without it, I mean, it makes the background nice in a nice manner, brighter in a nice manner, so I might keep it because it makes the entire thing read a bit better. Well, let me see what will happen if I will add the pollen layer. Let me just read it, and because I have like a layer like this type of a stuff, like above adjustment. So let me just make it on top of everything. Adjustment above, because I kind of want also stuff like this to happen like in here. So like there will be a bit more of this like golden hue to everything, and yeah, something like this happen. And this is the thing that I needed from the multiply layer by accident. So this like slight change in hue at the bottom, because the light will be like hitting the ground, bouncing off the ground, and yeah, and doing this type of a thing. Let's check how it will look on a troll. that I did. So let me turn off the Cyclop, let me turn on the Troll. And yeah. What is this layer? The adjustments. Oh, this is grass for the Cyclop. I feel on a Troll it's a bit too much, so I might adjust it according to the Troll. Yeah, so like 25%. Because sometimes it's easy to get... Yeah, but it definitely, the pollen layer works really nicely on him. It should be slightly up high, up top, yeah, like in here. And now I can turn off the Troll, turn on the Cyclop, and change the pollen layer because I moved it, so I want it to be universal. So dub. Yeah, and I kind of like how it turns out. I would say this might be the... No, it might not be the final for it because I don't really like how the light reflects on those guys. It's definitely way too strong. Not multiply, but normal. The light would not reflect that much out of those. Or I think, at least I think it won't. It will be bright, but it won't be like as overpowering. Also, those things are like a bit weird in shape. They don't need to be like this big. It can be like smaller. Okay, this is this and that. And this area is slightly odd. You wrap it around a bit more. Yeah, and also from the other interesting things that, or at least things that are interesting for me, I started playing Magic the Gathering again, so welcome back, the old habits and everything. Time to get addicted to Magic once again. Yeah, something like this. Pollen layer, now it's a bit too bright. So I'll go with like 75%. Well, not 100. 75. Yeah, I kind of like how it looks like. I see there are like tons of problems with it. But I guess at this point it's just like moving forward instead of trying to fix all the problems that I see in here. Because I made them already and it's like roll with them. Just might have drawn really light doesn't work like how I can draw really light with pencil. Does it? Yeah, it kind of does. Most likely your resolution is way too big for the paintings you're trying to do. So when you are doing display capture, a new document, those most likely are way too big and it lags. So this is one of the things that might happen. The second thing might be the brush that you are using is just like not really responsive. I had some brushes that were like cool and nice, but the responsiveness to like the pressure was just like shit. You will just like try to paint something and they will be like unless you like really press them in. So yeah, you have to press them hard. Most likely it's just the brush, I would say. Like 99% of the stuff. And also this area should have much deeper shadow. Am I stupid? This entire thing will be in shadow, pretty much. And this will cast like a really long shadow because like the angle of the light is like really steep. Yeah, now looking at it, it makes much more sense. Maybe not that dark, but darken, multiply. Yeah, multiply on a smaller setting. There's like no way this will be in light. Like arm will cast a shadow in here. And the thing is, if there's like a chest, he's slightly like slanted forward. And this shit is like hanging. And this is the angle. Like the shadow from the armor will be almost hitting like the crotch area. Wow. Well, those are the things that you start to see way too late. Maybe even this area will be slightly in the shadow. Yeah, but I mean, it would be really painful to paint without the immediate response from. Oh. I just noticed when I press C, the entire screen gets slightly brighter. The cropping tool. Yeah, if the tablet would not be like immediately responsive, this will be like really painful to paint. I can imagine. Some light on the legs, some light on the arms. When I'm trying to add a light to it, I will just work on a duplicate. Let's go to the proof setup and just like try to check how you are adding and where you are adding the lights, not like overpower a certain area. But yeah. Also now at my workplace I enrolled for some like training and courses and everything from some like really cool people, from like really skilled people. So I hope that will also help me to develop some of my skills in a bit better manner. So yeah. Let me try also to liquefy the entire character because I feel like small changes needs to be made here and there. I kind of feel like this entire thing is a bit too wide. I kind of feel he should have like less powerful shoulders to be slightly more like on a thin side here and there, and to just like round up some muscles and flatten some of them and bring them up here and there. I feel this entire area needs some like movement, and this is, I believe, the best thing about the liquify tool, because it allows you to just make those like small changes without like really destroying your image. It's also the favorite tool of Instagram models because you can just like do this to your butt and it's more rounded now. So yeah, the more you know. So this way you can like make your ass looks nicer on the photos. Let me compare it. Yeah, I prefer it this way. He's slightly shorter. And usually when you are doing like anything regarding the characters, just like experiment with it and always work on a duplicate, because it might fuck you in the ass if you forget to work on a duplicate. The perspective does not really work. Okay, let me try to just like flatten him for a second to check for some things. And perspective from the below, free transformation, and to make it a bit longer. So the thing that I want to do is to kind of simulate the looking straight and slightly up, and I feel it looks much better this way. But this is one of the fixes that most likely I will apply in the end, where all of those are finished, so the distortion will be consistent. You know, it's also a lot about the settings that you might have in your vacuum tablet, so maybe go there, because for me, if I don't update the drivers for like 2 months, everything stops working. It's just like every single problem that I had is just drivers. So it might be drivers. And what else it might be? It might be the tablet itself. Maybe it's old. That I don't know. What model do you have? But in my case, I have a old as a Wacom, and it works just well. For the screen tablets, I wanted to get my hands on this one, but since I tried to paint on a small screen tablet or from Wacom, and my hand was like overpowering half of the screen, and the big Wacoms are like extremely fucking expensive. They are like stupid expensive. Like you could buy a car instead of like the Wacom tablet or whatever. I mean, you could buy everything else, but I don't need a car. I need a Wacom tablet. But the thing is, if I were ever to switch to like a screen tablet, I would go to like the biggest one or like at least the big one. So yeah, I'm not doing the switch at the moment. I can safely say like I never had any Huion, but when I was doing the classes, the digital painting classes at Domin Gdańsk, where I used to teach the digital painting classes, when someone was bringing Huion, I know there will be problems with them like after like 1 hour of classes. And out of 99% of the problems I had with the drivers, with the students, and the hardware, it was Huion tablets. They are just like, I don't know what is wrong with them. They just don't work as they supposed to. They're just like, I don't know. I don't want to say faulty because I know a lot of people are using them and they don't have a lot of problems with them. But just from like the random problem searching for the most faulty tablet I ever encounter, Huions were like number one at my classes. And I can safely say out of like, I don't know, 100, 200 people maybe in total, a lot of them had Huions because they are just like cheaper and they are bigger and the specs and everything seem to be exactly the same. But yeah, it's just like there's a reason why Wacoms are slightly more expensive, but in the end, like I am using this guy with this pen, and I only had to change the cable once. This one I also need to change because it like broke off, like this part broke off. I'm not even sure if you can see it. But yeah, you don't really need anything too crazy. And also the more I like see the good artists work, like of course good tools are a necessity if you want to produce a nice artwork in a good environment with like a like comfort, like if you want to work comfortable, if you want to work nice without any problems, then just invest a bit into your tools because it will be like it's an investment in the end. I mean, one commission for like a character and you have your tablet worth back. So yeah. When I started to look at things at the prices of like, how much do I need to do to actually earn this thing? It turns out a lot of hardware is much cheaper than I expected it to be. Yeah, my tablet, this one might be actually around 7 years old or something like this. Because I got it, previously I had a Pentagram Titan. It was great, but it was like a 4 tablet or something like this. It was like also tons cheaper than Wacom. But at some point it just like stopped working. Oh, I remember, because it had this shitty design where the pen had batteries inside of it. And one day I was just like sitting and watching a movie and a pen just started to bend by itself. I felt like someone is going to kill me in a second because like it looked so supernatural. The pen just like made out of hard thing just did a 90-degree bend and I was like, holy fuck, there are spirits in my house, like I'm going to die now because this was all then I was also watching The Ring or something similar with like those type of horror movies. And I was so afraid, and I at some point I was like, okay, I'm going to touch the pen. I'm going to see what the fuck is wrong with it. And it turns out one of the batteries inside broke, and it spilled this toxic thingy, and it was really really hot, and just the heat bent the pen. And then I was like, I need to buy a new tablet, and I paid for this one like 600 zloty or 700 zloty, something like this. It's roughly like 150 $200 back then, or maybe slightly more, slightly less, something along those lines. And I have been using this one since then, and I only changed the tip of this one like, let me check how many spare tips do I have. Once I changed it once pretty much, because the one got like 2 millimeters shorter and the other one got like 1 millimeter shorter. So this is like the third tip I have been using for the past, all the artworks that I did in the previous like 7 years or even more. Because yeah, now I heard the tips are wearing off much faster, but also a lot of people don't know there's a different hardness to the tips that you might buy. So you can buy a hard tips and you can buy a soft tips, and the soft tips are wearing much faster. But they don't scratch the screen this much. Especially it is a problem if you are using the screen tablets. But since I'm not using a screen tablet, I'm basically scratching off the surface of a tablet. Yeah, I mean, they don't really wear off on me. And also the fact why they don't wear off on me is the fact that I don't really like pressing really hard. I noticed like really longest time ago that when I am focused way too much on something, I tend to like squeeze my hand really hard, and I tend to just like really intensively paint. And it was caused by the fact that I had my pressure setting set on like really high tolerance. I had to press really hard to achieve the maximum opacity. But several years ago, I just changed it to like almost a bare minimum. So I don't even know how to show you this, but I am barely pressing on the tablet and it's doing like 100 opacity. So I'm like, I can be really subtle with it, but painting with like full opacity comes with relatively low pressure, so it does not hurt my wrist that much. And also this is one of the things that causes the injury a lot, the carpal tunnel, something in the wrist. If you're pressing too much and too intensively, it can fuck up your wrists. So it's good to be aware of this, that something like this might happen. Okay, so yeah, there is this like something that I don't like about the shape of this. I would like it to be a bit more like squiggly and whatnot, but I have no idea what I could add apart from like some bumps on his skin. So like he can have like some shit growing on him, yeah, like the uneven skin or whatever. Bump. So yeah. And also this tablet was like traveling with me for like 5 years of me studying. So it was pretty much everywhere where I was through 5 years. So daily it will just go here, go there, and got unpacked, got tossed around. But shit's invincible. Like I do believe this one will outlive me. This actually one is a good tablet. And now, probably because I said it, I casted a course on it and it will die this week or something like this. This is usually how it goes with stuff like this. If you praise them too much, they will just like tell you that we are not worth of praise. Now we break. And the last thing that I need now is to spend money on a new tablet. I would not be happy with it right now. So yeah, but it does happen. But yeah, in terms of like the quality, like price to quality, might I would say still is the best with the Wacom. So by any chance anyone from Wacom is watching this and you would like to send me the biggest Cintiq you have, feel free. I will give you a genuine review for the tablet and it will be positive. So yeah, maybe at some point where I will get like 10 million subscribers or whatever. Gotta dream big. So yeah. Yeah, I feel like now I'm just like doing some like really minor changes that don't really affect the general look of this thing. So I think I will only fix this area in here and I will call it done. And then I will proceed in the next stream to the next one. So I wanted this stream to be slightly shorter. I want to build back my ability to strong for a longer period of times. I don't like the fact that those are the chains, so let me just hang some like belts in here instead. I will do like this, like some loops, so one can see that there's some like loopery happening. Yeah, if there's even a word like this. Something like this, and I will also only open the next monster that I want to do. Because most likely I will rework the sketch because I did the sketch like, I don't know, ages ago. So yeah, it's not really, the sketch most likely is not where I want it to be. So yeah. And I usually sucks with areas like this. This is just like a weird as area to paint. It's like really hard to populate it with something. We'll add a loop in here too. Later I will add like a filter to it. One of the things that kind of started to bother me is like this thing. Webs, Control C, Control V. Yeah, if you have anything that that you would like me to paint over on something, just feel free to send a link and I will just go through on it on stream. But the previous stream was like a dedicated paint over on the artworks of one artist because Peanut Butter was like really active on the channel that I really sucks with on. Like I don't really how to say it. I'm missing the word. Fuck. I don't interact on the channel as much as I would. I just simply forget about it, and yeah, but he posts a lot of his artworks and everything. So I thought like maybe I will be able to give him some pointers and whatnot. So I decided that from time to time, if people will just like post their stuff a lot there, and I will like have time, I can just like go and make a video about their artworks and the common things that I see, the problems. Yeah, but if you want to send something, just drop a link and yeah, to the image, and I will go through it. The best case scenario is you also will ask a question, like not just like, look, I did this, because then I can say like, great, and yeah, the end of the story. So if you have any specific questions, then it will be just easier for me to answer. Those are also the dust particles that I wanted to include. So yeah. Yeah, I mean also right now because of the classes I have been taking and some like discussing with some colleagues and everything, the stuff, I don't really feel like I am the right person to do a critiques. I feel like my level is way too low to actually give a, in a sense, a valuable critique. I might do it anyway because it's fun and I like doing it. But yeah, but this is like a common problem for a lot of artists. We just tend to don't think we are good enough. Yeah, that will be cool. I also really enjoy looking at what people do. It's just, I just like it. Looking at other people's stuff is just fun. And yeah, boost. And I mean, it's great to see someone is trying to improve their skills. I'm all for it, and I will always root for a person that is trying to improve their skills to do something. And also, this is a really cool type of a job, I would say. Even though some of the tasks that I do, so that I get some of the freelance work I had, it's not like the most interesting things because sometimes you just need to do stuff that you don't really enjoy. But usually, it's just fun, I would say. Yeah, the thing is sometimes. I mean, I could say that I can give a feedback that more or less will be okay, that won't do a lot of harm in a sense. Like, I don't think my feedback will harm someone that much. It might not be as helpful as I would like it to be, but it won't do any harm. But I have seen tons of feedbacks online that were just like straight up wrong or stupid, or were simplifying the answer to a question to a degree where it was better to never read something like this, to just not encounter stuff like this. So yeah, sometimes it's just you need to be aware who is giving you a feedback and who you trust, because in a long run, if the wrong person is giving you a feedback, it might like really hinder your progress in a long run for a really long time, because you will just get the wrong idea on something. So yeah, there is this. It's good to know who is giving you a feedback, and also things like the groups like Level Up. There are great groups because you can like, in a sense, you literally can validate your artworks. If you get a lot of likes, then it means people like it. But also a lot of like naysayers will try to bring you down, and a lot of people that don't have any idea what they are talking about will give you critiques, and sometimes those people are the loudest, and yeah, they will bitch about you not applying the critique they gave you because they spent time giving you a critique, and then yeah, and then you end up like doing shit that is bad. There was this really cool saying that the designer and an artist, by their visual development, is like 10 years ahead of like a, let's say, person who is just like consuming the medias and everything. So what skilled artist or skilled designer will find nice and looking cool, the general public will also accept as cool and nice and everything in a like span of 10 years. It was mostly visible in architecture and industrial design. I'm not sure how it is about the games or how it works. I still kind of feel, even though I work with games and whatnot, that the design for the games is slightly, it's like a different thing, because it's just really, really skill based in terms of like drawing, not that much on designing. Like a lot of people who I met were like great artists, but like relatively not great designers. And this is why you a lot of the times get like decent games and stuff like this. By any means, I don't want to like praise myself and say that I am the best and whatnot. Just the case that in this field it's kind of like weird. I don't see a lot of people like caring about what they do. to the degree they could, because yeah, well, I mean, it's a long topic. I guess I would need to prepare a bit more for a discussion like this to be able to back it up with some facts and some names or whatnot or whatever. So yeah. If pleasant for the eye, not necessarily. Yeah, but I mean, it's true. But that also depends what you are calling art and where you want to go with it. Because, for example, like the easiest example is if you are a designer, you have like, or you should be aware, how to say it. You have a responsibility to deliver a good design that won't harm people consuming the media, because if you're making a game, let's say it will be like the biggest game in the world or whatever, it is like just the important game type of a thing, and you just fill it with like bad design. So let's say this is like a triple A project, the best game you could work on, like it has millions of fans. It does not matter how or who will work on it, but it will sell like well. It just will sell because, like, let's say the studio is popular or whatever. Then also the thing is, dozens of kids will also consume this game, and if you will like kind of teach kids that this and this looks good, and that this type of a behavior is acceptable, then you will have a problem, because then you will raise in the future a lot of kids with like a really bad taste. Because if a game with like objectively bad designs gets popular because of something, then the like general standard for the quality and the taste of the things will get lowered. And it's kind of hard to say in terms of games, because there's like no one objective way to say something is good or bad. It's a bit easier with like the industrial design, in a sense that if you will make a product that is just like nice to use and it just looks good and has the qualities of a greatly designed product, then the people will demand better products instead of like this, like, a lot of plasticky shit that we have on the market now. That like, not hopefully but thankfully, there's like less and less all the time. But yeah, we do care a lot about the pollution of the oceans and everything, but we also should care a lot about the pollution of our like heads with like all the shitty content that we get. Yeah. Mm, let's see. Yeah, and this is the problem with the games, because it's really multidisciplinary. It's like just so complex that it's hard to do. But I guess this is why it boils down to a point that everyone should be like at least aware of the fact that it might shape someone. In a sense that I can easily like, I can bet every artist that they have their examples of artists that inspired them and that they made them pick up art. So, and sometimes you are not even aware of the fact that those were the people that made you do it. So, for example, for me, I was always like, okay, this guy inspired me, this guy inspired me. I always like painting of this guy and that guy. But the thing that I was like really not aware for God knows how long was the fact that I was playing fuckload of games like when I was like small, and it was like Diablo and Baldur's Gate, and I was never like really aware of the fact how much Baldur's Gate have impacted me as an artist, in a sense, or as a designer. But after like quite recently, let's say like 2 years ago, I was like scrolling past my Facebook feed and I saw portraits from Baldur's Gate, and I was like, huh, someone like painted the portraits from Baldur's Gate. And then I was started to read the post, and it turns out in my friend list I had a guy who painted all the portraits, or vast majority of the portraits, that I redrew many times when I was a kid, I believe, or at least if I think I did. I don't really remember. But it turns out the artist that just is a good artist is like a really great craftsman, like inspired me without actually knowing about it. So I also had no idea he inspired me to like that degree. And it turns out like the responsible person was put in a responsible place, did a responsible job, and gave me a good example how the things should be done and what quality to expect from it. So yeah. Yeah, good luck with the chores. In my case, the sun is long down, and soon I will also have to go back to do some of my chores because, yeah, because the life is life. So yeah, have a good day. Okay, I will call it quits on this guy, and yeah, I fixed some stuff. The rest is just like minor thing, like fixing some smaller stuff. The background I will adjust a bit more. Grass, the background I will just adjust maybe in the next creature. And let me check. Home units, home presentation, home one PSD. Is this? Yeah, this is this. So the next guy that I want to do from the sketches will be this small fella with his spear. So boop. Let me grab him. And he's roughly the size of the knee. So I will do this guy, test some new things, then I will do the orc, and then I will do the giant because I enjoy the giant most. So if I were to keep the same environment, this guy will be like this big on the painting. And I kind of need to think how to do it. This is the tricky part actually, because I want them to share the background, and I hope you can see this guy don't really fit to this background that well, because I would need to crop him like this for it to make any sense, and making him like this big does not work either. So this is actually a really interesting problem that I had no idea how I'm going to solve at this moment. But yeah, let me just like quickly paint a white something behind him, so you could at least see the sketch that I will rework and redo because I don't like it anymore, due to all the problems with the anatomy and perspective and whatnot. And yeah, I will be doing this next. So yeah, this is all. Thanks for streaming. I do say I am abandoning this fella, but always when I say something like this, I notice one of the things that are annoying for me, and I will just fix this small area. The small like rim light is a bit too strong in here. It shouldn't be like that white. Just add some like lines to make it slightly more delicate. From this perspective, I should not be even able to see this part, but who cares? So yeah, I'm abandoning this one and off to the Goblin I will go. So we will see how it will go. Maybe I will do like several of them doing something, or one of them just standing on a really long stick. This is an idea, but yeah, we will see. Okay, thanks for watching, and to the next time. I don't want to promise the Wednesday, but Wednesday possibly. And yeah, if anyone would like to join a Discord server, there is a link down in the description below. Subscribe, like, share, do all the other stuff, and see ya. Have a good day.